My daughter's scream wasn't just peanut, it was betrayal. I'll never forget the sight. Her small hands clawing at her eyes. Tears streaming down her face as she stumbled blindly across the sidewalk, and standing over her with a can of pepper spray clutched like a weapon was a woman whose smug expression could have curdled milk. Her words were like venom. "That'll teach you to trespass, brat." In that moment, I wasn't just a father. I wasn't just a neighbor. I was the one person this woman never should have crossed. Because what she didn't know was that the girl she just assaulted was the daughter of a sitting state senator. And she had just declared war. We moved into the neighborhood for peace. After years of political battles, endless late nights at the state capitol, it's being followed by reporters, my wife and I wanted one thing for our 13-year-old daughter, Emily. Normalcy. Our house sat on the edge of the HOA community, but by legal design wasn't part of it. I thought it would spare us the constant bickering about mailbox colors and lawn heights. I was wrong from the moment we moved in. One woman seemed to have it out for a scarin'. She was the self-appointed queen bee of the HOA, patrolling the streets with a clipboard and a permanent scowl. She didn't like my wife's garden, didn't like the flags I flew, didn't like Emily riding her bike on community sidewalks. But annoyance was one thing. What she did next crossed into unforgivable. It was a Saturday afternoon. Emily had gone out on her bike, a backpack slung over her shoulders, pedaling to her friend's house 2 blocks over. She was responsible, respectful, and careful. I was reviewing paperwork in my home office when I heard it. The scream sliced through the air like glass. I bolted outside, my chest tightening, instinct screaming something's wrong. And there she was, my little girl, stumbling, face red and wet with tears, gasping that her eyes were burning. Her bike lay discarded on the ground, behind her a cran, holding a can of pepper spray like a trophy. She was trespassing. Karen barked at me, her voice laced with satisfaction. Cutting across private lawns. I warned her before. Kids like her need to learn. I froze, rage boiling in my veins. You pepper sprayed my daughter? She shouldn't have been where? She didn't belong, Karen spat back. I'll do it again if she keeps disrespecting rules. My wife ran out, cradling Emily, trying to flush her eyes with water. My daughter's sobs tore at my soul. And something inside me, both as a father and as a man who had sworn to uphold justice, napped. I dialed 911, my voice trembling but firm. This is Senator Carter. My daughter has just been assaulted with pepper spray by a neighbor. I need paramedics and law enforcement immediately. The dispatcher's tone changed instantly. Help is on the way, sir. Within minutes, squad, cars and an ambulance arrived. Paramedics tended to Emily, carefully rinsing her eyes. She clutched my hand, whimpering, "Daddy, it hurts." I kissed her forehead, whispering, "I promise you, sweetheart, she will pay for this." The deputies pulled Karen aside. She argued, waving her arms, screeching about trespassing and neighborhood rules. But the more she talked, the deeper she buried herself. One officer finally asked her, "Ma'am, are you aware pepper spraying a minor without provocation constitutes felony assault?" Karen's face went pale. She was trespassing. That makes it self-defense. Officer's jaw tightened. A 13-year-old on a bike is not a lethal threat, ma'am. I'll never forget the moment they cuffed her hands behind her back. For the first time, Karen's smug confidence cracked into sheer panic. Word spread faster than wildfire. Senators. Daughter assaulted in broad daylight. Porters swarmed the street within hours. Cameras flashed. Microphone shoved in my face. Senator Carter, will you press charges? Do you believe the HOA is responsible for fostering hostility? What message do you have for parents about neighborhood safety? I stood on my lawn, my daughter resting inside, her eyes bandaged, and let my anger become purpose. My daughter is 13 years old. She was riding her bike to a friend's house. A grown adult decided the appropriate response was to assault her with a chemical weapon. This isn't just a neighborhood dispute. This is about accountability. I will make sure justice is served. Not just for my family, but for every parent who worries about their child's safety. As the cameras ate it up. Karen hadn't just picked on a kid. She had picked on the wrong family. The case moved quickly. The evidence was overwhelming. Witnesses saw Karen confront Emily. Security cameras caught parts of the incident. And the pepper spray can was confiscated. Karen's lawyer tried to spin it. Emily was reckless, disrespectful, defiant. But when my daughter took the stand, her voice trembling yet brave, she told the court, "All I did was cut across the corner of the grass to get to my friend's house." She shouted at me. I apologized, but she sprayed me anyway. I thought I was going to go blind. The jury's faces hardened. The judge's eyes narrowed. When it was my turn, I stood tall, not as a senator, but as a father. This wasn't about trespassing. This was about control, cruelty, and an adult abusing power over a child. My daughter will never forget the pain of that day, but neither should this community. Because if this goes unpunished, what's next? Which child becomes the next victim? The gavel came down like thunder, guilty of felony assault. Karen was sentenced to jail time, ordered to pay damages, and permanently barred from any HOA leadership role. Emily healed physically within weeks, but emotionally, it took longer. Nightmares haunted her. She jumped at sudden noises. She hesitated to ride her bike again. So I did what any father would do. I rode with her. Every evening, I dusted off my old bike, and together we pedaled through the neighborhood. The first few times, she trembled. But as days passed, her smile returned, her laughter echoing against the sunset. Neighbors who once bowed to Karen's tyranny now waved at us with respect. Some whispered apologies. Some cheered. The HOA board collapsed, stripped of its iron grip, and in its place grew something new: community. Months later, Emily asked me, "Daddy, why did she hate us so much?" I sighed, brushing her hair back. Some people can't stand what they can't control. They see kindness as weakness. But they forget strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's just standing up for what's right, no matter how scary it feels. She smiled, eyes finally bright again. "Like you did for me?" I hugged her tight. "Like we did. You were braver than anyone." Karen thought pepper spray would silence my daughter. Instead, it amplified her voice. Our family's resolve, and a community's demand for justice. And as for me, I learned once again that politics isn't confined to marble halls or Senate floors. Sometimes the most important battles happen right outside your front door. Every time I see Emily hop on her bike now, free and unafraid, I feel a surge of pride. Not because I'm a senator, not because we won in court, but because no matter how heartless the world can be, love, courage, and truth will always win in the end. Karen didn't just lose her case, she lost her power. And she'll never forget the day she picked the wrong fight with the wrong family. Asterisk.